My hands still remember the exact weight of that tablecloth, the way the linen clung to my fingertips like it was trying to keep the secret buried. I can close my eyes and feel the ballroom air again, warm, thick with rosewater and lies, pressing against my skin until I couldn't tell where the perfume ended and the panic began. My name is Elena Harper, and what I'm about to confess isn't just a story. It's a scar I reopen every time I look at my nephew's dinosaur sneakers, and remember how close I came to losing everything that mattered. Let me take you inside the Grand Willow Ballroom on the night it all unraveled. Picture it. The venue perched on the edge of Puget Sound like a wedding cake someone forgot to cut. Outside, the water is black glass reflecting a half moon. Inside, the chandeliers are waterfalls of crystal, each droplet catching light and throwing it back like a dare. The tables are draped in ivory so pristine it looks wet. Centerpieces explode with roses, white blush, the occasional blood-red bloom tucked in like a warning. The scent is overwhelming, cloying, the kind of fragrance that makes you dizzy if you breathe too deep. I'm 35, a pediatric ICU nurse who's held more dying babies than most people will ever love. My dress is navy silk, borrowed from a co-worker who swore it made her feel like royalty. On me, it feels like a costume. I keep tugging at the neckline, convinced everyone can see the calluses on my hands, the exhaustion under my eyes. I'm sipping ginger ale because alcohol and 12-hour shifts don't mix, especially not when you're on call for the NICU. My reflection in the champagne flute looks like a stranger. Cheekbones too sharp, smile too practiced. Table 12 is in the corner, near the emergency exit no one's supposed to notice. I'm seated with Milo, my 5-year-old nephew, who's wearing a tiny tuxedo complete with a clip-on tie shaped like a stegosaurus. His sneakers light up red-blue-red every time he kicks his feet under the table. He's coloring the kids' menu with a crayon the color of dried blood, tongue poking out in concentration. I ruffle his curls, soft as dandelion fluff, and ask, "Having fun, bud?" He nods, but his eyes keep sliding to the floor. Not the way kids do when they drop a toy or spill juice. This is different. This is the look I've seen in the ER when a toddler's been left alone with a bottle of bleach or a loaded gun. It's the look that says I know something I shouldn't, and it's eating me alive. Across the room, the string quartet saws through at last. Vanessa, my little sister, 28 going on eternal, spins in the arms of her brand new husband, Marcus. Her dress is a confection of lace and tulle, the kind of gown that costs more than my annual salary. The veil floats behind her like a ghost that hasn't decided whether to haunt or to flee. Marcus guides her with a hand low on her spine. Not possessive. Territorial. His tux is bespoke, the wool so fine it drinks the light. His smile is perfect, but his eyes keep sweeping the room, cataloging exits, counting heads, clocking every server who passes too close. I notice the first fracture then, Vanessa's laugh. It's too loud, too bright, ricocheting off the crystal like a warning shot. It's the laugh she used at 16 when she snuck out to meet boys mom didn't approve of, the laugh she used at 21 when she totaled dad's car and swore it was just a fender bender. But tonight it's sharper, edged with something chemical. Her pupils are blown wide, swallowing the green the first used to know. Her fingers twitch against Marcus's sleeve like she's counting heartbeats she's not sure are hers. Milo tugs my sleeve so hard the silk strains at the seam. Aunt Lena. His voice is a thread pulled too tight, ready to snap. The bad snow. I blink, crouch down to his level. What sweetheart? He points under the tablecloth, barely breathing. Officer Ramirez showed us at school. The kind that makes people sick. We're supposed to run and tell a grown-up we trust. My pulse stalls. The ballroom tilts. I lift the linen just enough to see. There it is, nestled between Milo's light-up sneakers and a discarded gift bow. 3 dime bags, corners knotted like tiny nooses. A rolled 20 crisp as a threat. A compact mirror dusted white, reflecting the underside of the table like a crime scene in negative. There's even a tiny silver spoon, the kind you see in antique shops, now crusted with residue. My stomach drops through the floorboards into the sound below. I let the cloth fall. Heart jackhammering so hard I'm sure the chandelier flickers in time. Milo whispers, "I didn't touch it, I promise. I just saw it when I dropped my crayon." The innocence in his voice is a blade between my ribs. I force a smile that feels like plastic cracking. You did perfect, baby. You're so brave. We're gonna fix this. My hands shake as I angle my phone under the table. Snap 5 photos. Flash off, sound off. Evidence. The last shot blurs because my thumb is trembling too hard to hold steady. But that wasn't the worst of it. Not even close. I scan the room with new eyes, the way I scan a crashing patient for the source of the bleed. Marcus's best man, Trent, disappears toward the restrooms with a waiter who's definitely not on staff. His bow tie is crooked, his shoes scuffed. They return 3 minutes later, pupils blown wide, laughing too hard at nothing. A bridesmaid I don't recognize, platinum hair, dress 2 sizes too small, lips injected to cartoon proportions, slips a tiny bag to a man in a tux that costs more than my car. Palm to palm, smooth as a magician's pass. Another guest, an older woman in pearls and a pillbox hat, accepts a breath mint tin from Marcus himself. She tucks it into her clutch with a conspiratorial wink. Vanessa catches my stare across the ballroom. She floats over, veil trailing like a surrender flag. The lace catching on chair legs and tearing in. Tiny satisfying rips. Everything okay, sis? Her breath smells metallic, copper and chemicals, like she's been licking batteries. Up close, I see the tremor in her hands, the way she keeps touching her nose like it's bleeding in secret. Her mascara is smudged, not from tears but from the sweat beading under her eyes despite the air-conditioned chill. I grip Milo's hand so tightly he squeaks. We need air. Now. Marcus materializes beside her, shark smooth in bespoke wool. Dance floors this way, Elena. Family tradition, sisters dance. His fingers brush my elbow. Static shock of warning. His cologne is overpowering, something expensive and sharp, like money soaked in pine needles. I lean close to Vanessa, voice barely air. Table 12. Under the cloth. Explain. Now. Her pupils swallow the rest of her face. You're seeing things. Wedding stress. You worry too much. Am I? I tilt my phone so she sees the photo. The dime bags glowing under the table like toxic fireflies. Her facade cracks, spiderweb fractures across porcelain. Marcus's hand clamps her upper arm hard enough to bruise through the lace. Later, he hisses through a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. His teeth are too white, too straight, the kind of perfection that costs more than most people's rent. Later. That word tastes like a threat, like the moment before a code blue when you know the heart's about to stop. I find Dad near the bar, nursing a scotch he doesn't drink because he's been sober for 23 years. One look at my face and his retired Air Force spine straightens like he's 25 again, standing at attention. Mom's beside him, clutching her champagne like a lifeline, pearls clicking with every nervous breath. Her mother of the bride dress is lavender silk, the color of bruises fading. Code red. I whisper, pulling them into the alcove behind the ice sculpture, a swan melting into itself. Milo found product. Active distribution. Here. Now. Under the table where a 5-year-old was coloring. Dad's jaw turns to granite. Mom gasps, hand flying to her throat, pearls scattering like hail. Vanessa, she breathes, the name a prayer and a curse. I show them the photos. Dad's voice drops to battlefield low, the tone he used when he caught me sneaking out at 17. We extract the boy. Then we burn this down. Plan. Mom takes Milo to the valet stand, tells him they're playing a secret game called Hide from the Dragons. Dad shadows the exits, eyes sharp as a hawk's. I confront the bride. Every step across the parquet floor feels like walking a tightrope over hell. The quartet shifts to a waltz. Couples swirl around me like I'm the only still point in a hurricane. The scent of roses is suddenly nauseating, like funeral flowers left too long in the sun. Vanessa's in the bridal suite hallway, alone for once. Marcus off glad-handing investors in the cigar lounge, their laughter muffled through the walls like a pack of hyenas. I block the door with my body, silk dress straining at the seams. Talk. Now. She tries the laugh, high brittle, the sound of ice cracking under too much weight. You're being dramatic, Lena. It's my wedding. Stop. I shove the phone in her face. Your son sat 6 inches from felony weight. He recognized it from a DRE presentation. Explain. Tears carve black rivers through her makeup, mascara mixing with sweat and foundation until she looks like a watercolor left in the rain. It's not. I didn't. Marcus said it was just tonight. For the stress. For the investors. Investors. The word tastes like bile, like the moment you realize the fluid you just hung is contaminated. You let drug dealers fund your dream wedding? The venue? The dress? The honeymoon to Santorini. She crumples against the wall, veil pooling like spilled milk on the marble. I was going to stop after the honeymoon. I swear. But Milo, he wasn't supposed to see. Footsteps. Marcus rounds the corner, tucks pristine. Smile lethal. Problem, ladies? His voice is smooth as the Scotch Dad isn't drinking, but there's a blade beneath it. I step between them, my body a shield. Yeah. You're done using my sister as a mule. Done using her wedding as a drop point. Done putting a child in the crossfire. His mask slips, just for a heartbeat. I see the calculation, the rage, the man who's never heard no without consequences. Careful, Elena. Some bridges burn faster when you strike the match. Vanessa's voice cracks the air like a whip. I'm done, Marcus. The words are small, but they land like a gunshot. He grabs her wrist hard. Bones grind. You don't get to be done. You think your family will take you back after this? After the embarrassment? The headlines. I yank out my phone. Thumb hovering over 911. Let go. Or I end this right now. And trust me, I've got enough evidence to bury you. Guests are staring. Phones rising like periscopes. Dad's silhouette fills the doorway, security behind him. 2 ex-cops in ill-fitting tuxes who suddenly look very awake, very ready. One has a hand on his radio, the other on the cuffs at his belt. Marcus releases her, but his eyes promise murder. You'll regret this. All of you. Vanessa's knees buckle. I catch her before she hits the marble. Her veil ripping completely free and drifting to the floor like a discarded skin. Over her sobs, I hear Dad's voice, Principal General Father. Seattle PD is 3 minutes out. Anyone still holding walks in cuffs? Anyone still breathing better start running. Marcus's empire scatters like roaches when the lights flip on. Trent sprints for the service exit, knocks over a tray of flutes. Crystal explodes like gunfire. Champagne fizzing across the floor like blood. The platinum bridesmaid drops her clutch. Baggies spill across the parquet like confetti from hell, one skittering under a chair where a toddler is now crawling. I dive for it, hard in my throat, and stuff it into my bra because evidence doesn't wait for gloves. The quartet stops mid-note. Silence crashes in, heavier than the bass line ever was. I kneel, gather the scattered baggies with a napkin. Evidence, not souvenirs. My hands don't shake anymore. They're steady the way they are when I'm coating a kid in the trauma bay, when I'm threading a central line into a vein the width of a spaghetti noodle. Muscle memory. Vanessa's on the floor now, wedding dress pooled around her like a crime scene. Lace soaked with champagne and tears. Mom rushes in, kneels, gathers her youngest into arms that haven't held her like this since she was 8 and fell off her bike, skinning both knees bloody. Dad stands over us, phone to his ear, voice calm as he gives the address to dispatch, repeating it twice because the officer on the line sounds stunned. Milo peeks around the doorframe, eyes wide. I wave him over. He runs, sneakers squeaking, and burrows into my side. I lift him so he doesn't see the powder on the floor, the way it's already being tracked across the ballroom by panicked guests. Is Mommy okay? He whispers, voice muffled against my dress. She will be, I say. And for the first time tonight, I believe it. Because the alternative is unthinkable. Outside, red and blue lights paint the ballroom walls like a disco from hell. Officers swarm, some in uniform, some plain clothes who were apparently guests all along, sipping champagne and waiting for the signal. They bag evidence with the efficiency of people who've done this at baptisms, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras. Marcus has read his rights in the parking lot, face pressed to the hood of a cruiser, tux jacket ripped at the seam. He doesn't look back. Doesn't see Vanessa standing barefoot on the pavement, veil gone, hair wild, dress ruined but spine straight for the first time in years. Vanessa refuses to change. She walks out in her ruined gown, barefoot because her crystal-embellished heels snapped somewhere between the hallway and the truth. The photographers, hired to capture joy, Now document the fall. Flashes pop like gunfire. One catches her face as she looks back at the ballroom, eyes hollow but clear. Another catches Milo's hand in mine, his dinosaur sneaker flashing red-blue-red against the wet pavement. I buckle Milo into my car. He falls asleep before we hit the bridge, thumb in mouth, dinosaur clutched to his chest like a talisman. The city lights blur through my tears, each one a headline I can already see. Asterisk society wedding turns drug bust. Bride's sister blows whistle. Child saved. Asterisk. 3 days later, Vanessa's in a locked rehab an hour north of the city, in a facility that looks more like a monastery than a prison. Court ordered, 60 days minimum, with the possibility of extension if she relapses. She lost custody temporarily, but the judge, a woman with kind eyes and a voice like steel, cited extraordinary family support when she let Milo stay with me instead of foster care. Marcus faces felony distribution, child endangerment, possession with intent, and a laundry list of charges that'll keep him away until Milo's in high school. The wedding's annulled, never legally consummated, the clerk says with a straight face that doesn't hide her pity. I visit Vanessa on Sundays. The first time she's in gray sweats, hair in a messy bun, no makeup. She looks 16 again, the way she did when she used to steal my eyeliner and swear she was just experimenting. We sit in the courtyard under a maple that's just starting to turn, leaves the color of dried blood. The air smells like pine and cafeteria coffee. I hated you, she says, voice raw from group therapy and crying in the showers. For a week. Then I started remembering. Remembering what? How you used to sneak me ice packs when Mom grounded me for sneaking out. How you worked doubles at the diner, so I could take dance lessons. How you never told Mom when I threw up in your car after prom. She picks at a scab on her knuckle until it bleeds. I thought perfection would keep me safe. Turns out it just made me blind. Milo draws her pictures, dinosaurs in tutus, because Mommy likes sparkles. She tapes them above her bed, next to a photo of the two of them at the zoo last summer, before Marcus, before the drugs, before the wedding that almost killed them both. On day 30, she asks me to bring her old ballet shoes, the ones she wore until the satin shredded. She wants to teach the younger girls plies in the gym. Her hands don't shake anymore. Her eyes are clear, the green the first remember from childhood. From the summer we built forts in the backyard and swore we'd be sisters forever. Back home, I repaint Milo's room. We choose a color called Ocean Storm. A blue so deep it feels like drowning in safety. He helps, paint on his nose, dinosaur abandoned for a roller the size of his head. At night, he asks for stories about brave ants who fight dragons. I tell him the truth, edited for 5-year-olds. Sometimes the dragons wear tuxedos and smile for cameras. But love is a better weapon than fire. And truth is the match that burns their wings. The ballroom made the papers, front page above the fold with a photo of the cake sliding sideways, Rose's bleeding red dye onto the tablecloth. Mom cut the article out anyway, tucked it in her Bible between Psalms and Proverbs, like a cautionary tale. Dad rewrote his toast for the family dinner we never had. To second chances, and to the sisters who refused to let us waste them. I still smell roses sometimes, phantom scent in the grocery store floral department, and my stomach clenches so hard I have to sit on the floor next to the cantaloupes. But then I smell Milo's shampoo, green apple and innocence, and I breathe again. I breathe until my lungs remember how. Last week, Vanessa called from a payphone in the rehab common room. Her voice was steady, the kind of steady that comes from waking up without craving for the first time in years. I'm learning.